This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Riverside today. We are joined by Alpin and Cynthia Karimi. They are supremely dedicated to their community and the children of their community. There was a program on the east side of Riverside. It was a music program. You had not moved to this area yet. Cynthia, you were here. And tell us about that program and the risk that it faced.
Well, at the time, it was doing really well in the sense of the community children that were participating, about 500 at the time.
Low-income children or lower-income children.
Underserved, at-risk children. And funding became very scarce. And that's when the community, business leaders and police association
and moms
and art and kids, everybody rallied together and started building funds so that the doors would not shut.
Because we have to remember, and you can explain this, Alpin, that funding for arts in schools was being decimated right around this time. What did you learn when you moved to Riverside?
Well, I moved to Riverside. You know, I came from the Bay Area, and I was a New Yorker, but my career involved doing arts education outreach throughout the United States, and I just fell into the role of arts educator. I did not necessarily mean to do so, and what I saw is across the board, you know, arts programs were the first things to be cut because they considered them to be extracurricular.
And yet what we know, and you're a testament to it, that there's a direct correlation between arts education and often aptitude in math. Of all things. But academic achievement generally, but math specifically because of the spatial relationships that you learn in music and you learn in math. And so what happened? You're being a little humble. You're a well-known concert pianist. And so you landed in Riverside. You wanted to get involved. What happened?
I wanted to get involved. I reached out to a lot of the local music institutions, and what I found was there seemed to be something missing, especially in the elementary level, where I think that it's so crucial because it's at the elementary and in that age of brain development that provides the self-confidence that eventually in the later years it prevents kids from making the mistakes that can really derail their life.
So as Alpin's moving to Riverside, you, Cynthia, are getting incredibly involved along with other leaders, Colette Lee, for example, who we know well in Riverside, to raise money to keep what's now known as the Riverside Arts Academy open, thriving, and flourishing.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you have to do?
Well, we are currently in a committee where we are establishing or actually planning a big fundraising gala. And that's
but even before that, I mean, you raised $70,000 to keep this institution open. That's not easy.
It's not easy.
How did you do that?
There's so many community leaders that strongly believe in all of this. And for example, Arts and Kids, they alone raised $45,000. They alone.
But as a result of the efforts of the community coming together and saying, here is $70,000, we're for real, you all were able to convince the city of Riverside to put its money where its mouth is. And what happened there?
Well, I can speak only for Alvord School District, which I've been tapped to reinstitute music education in the elementary schools. We're going to be doing a pilot program.
And Alvord, by the way, serves portions of the city of Riverside as well as
Corona.
Corona, exactly.
And what was amazing is that the Board of Education, their Alvord board, set aside funding to establish all that, to buy instruments, to buy materials, to be able to find the teachers, to be able to. So we're going to be establishing this pilot program literally
at
Alvord starting in January.
So, but with regard to the Riverside Arts Academy, the after-school element, the summer element, the city of Riverside is funding programs there. The charitable contributions are funding programs there. And now, over the most recent years, you've had how many students marching through?
2,000 plus.
2,000 plus. It's stunning in its scope, and it's affirming in so many different ways. But you folks are really dedicated to making this program count. So dedicated that you did your research, and you've adopted a system. I guess it comes out of Venezuela, is that right? Called El Sistema?
Correct.
Now known as Project Harmony.
Project Harmony. So you tell me about El Sistema, you tell us about Project Harmony. Go.
Okay. Well, El Sistema was enacted in Venezuela by the conductor Gustavo Dudamel.
Heard of him?
Right. He's okay. He's just this young guy that is the music director for the Los Angeles Philharmonic. He's the true rock star face of classical music right now, and he's always been an advocate for underserved audiences and underserved kids. And the Simon Bolivar Orchestra, if you look on YouTube, they're some of the most spectacular performances of music you'll find anywhere. So now, when he came to Los Angeles, he started the whole movement of trying to establish El Sistema.
So what is El Sistema?
El Sistema is, it provides music instruction, instruments, classes, and financial support to underserved kids in schools.
So tell us about the LA adoption, the Harmony Project.
Nationally recognized arts program that also mentors young children that are very at risk and through music. And there are concrete scientific studies that show such a great improvement in cognitive skills. And as a result, these kids are really advancing. And for example, their last year class, which consisted of about 2,000 students or so, 100% of them went to nationwide colleges and universities. And as a result of what they've recognized in our arts program as well, they've asked us to be affiliated to them, and that's huge.
Huge. Now, you, Alpin, have become what's known as an artist in residence at the Riverside Arts Academy. What does that mean?
We're finding out. I'm about to find out.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm coordinating the program for this upcoming fundraiser. And really, I've just been a consultant on the board and just sitting out on the meetings thus far. But what I've been amazed by what Colette and her team have been able to do is that they're making this a reality. And I just want to refer back to the Harmony Project.
Please.
What's different about the Harmony Project as opposed to a lot of these initiatives is that they are measuring the statistical differences between their population and the student population that is not served by arts programs such as this. And they are measuring gang affiliation, substance abuse, teenage pregnancy, as you said,
Health improvements.
Health improvements, and they follow them over decades. So it's not just one thing that they give a kid a violin and then they let them go and then they just hope that everything's going to be well. Because there are a lot, the idea that, the way I describe it is that classical music and classical arts, it's usually seen as green leafy vegetables, right? It's like, it's definitely, it's good for you, but maybe only occasionally tasty, right? And so the idea that it's not only very tasty, but it's the fact that if you can create a community around it, truly, as we all know growing up, it's really, if it's loneliness really is the one thing that we're trying to, so if you sense of belonging.
When we think about underserved communities, often
it's financial, and it's not.
Oh, I know that.
Should not be categorized that way.
That I know. No, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, intelligence has nothing to do with underservice.
Right.
But I do have a sense that as it relates to music, my guess is they're not listening to Beethoven, they're listening to Beyonce.
Which I'm totally.
And so, but how do you kind of incorporate Beethoven and Beyonce?
Well, Riverside Art Academy does it. They have a hip hop theater class.
Yes.
That's why I knew the answer.
Yes.
So
They what I think that which is really brilliant of them is they incorporate the different cultures in the area. They have a ballet folklorico class, for example, and
violin, drums.
So it's not just Western European music per se, but they try to do all the disciplines and offer a range so that everybody who has an interest in something can find something.
Hip hop theater is something really exciting. The UC Riverside professor Hines is initiating into our program, and it's causing a lot of excitement.
Tell me what you see. I ask this question often in the eyes of the children when you go to one of their classes.
They're dazzled. They're mesmerized. They're
words.
They're engaged, and they're in a world that they're not in all day at school with family. This is where they get to express themselves.
What do you see in their eyes?
I see the future of an informed electorate.
What do you see, what do you feel in your heart when you're there?
Hope that my children, the community that they live in, will be as enriched as what my parents, being immigrants, were able to give me.
What do you feel?
I feel like we're changing lives. We're changing lives.
You've touched me both. His name is Alpin Hong. Her name is Cynthia Karimi. They are Uber volunteers with the Riverside Arts Academy. You can find out more about that organization. What's the website address?
We have a Facebook page.
At Riverside Arts Academy. Perfect. We'll put it on the screen.
Please like us.
Of course. My name is Brad Pomerance. This is Charter Local Edition.